I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Graeme Raubenheimer. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
Angel, I'm doing amazing. It's sun has just gone down here in Cape Town, South Africa, and yeah, I'm feeling good. It's been a very relaxed weekend. Haven't done too much, and yeah, keeping it really chilled. How are you?
I'm excellent. Our equivalent for the word chill in Trinidad and Tobago is the word liming, right? Apparently, it was said that when the tourists came to Tobago, because of the sandflies, they would take lime and rub it on their skin, right, so that they could still chill. Yeah. So. Yeah, man, I've been liming today, right?
Well, I've just learned something, which is really awesome. So
Yeah.
that's something, you got to learn something new every day,
I
which is
think
rad.
so. Yeah, most definitely. Well, Graeme, tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time.
I assume it's the podcasting. Both you and I have and are into podcasting. You are more of an avid podcaster than I am. I mean, what you're doing right now is such a mean feat. It's so awesome to hear that you're having all these conversations with people across the world, reaching from South Africa, I can imagine, all the way to America, etc., etc. So I assume, yeah, we met along the lines of podcasting. You probably heard my podcast before, which was Radio Spoorkassen, where we kind of, gave a spotlight to local bands and artists in South Africa, more or less underground artists, to try and give them some space and, time under the sun to be able to showcase their work. But I'm also in radio. So I'm actually a journalist by heart. I'm a radio news journalist, and I work for a commercial radio station here in Cape Town called Heart FM. It's one of the bigger ones. And yeah, that's my day job.
Wow. So who did you learn the skill of journalism / radio from?
More or less. Well, I went to university for 3 years here in Cape Town. Very lucky and fortunate to go. And I studied journalism at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. But I mean, universities can only teach you so much. They can only teach you the basic fundamentals. And I believe that a lot of what the talents that you get through radio broadcasting is only done on the job. You have to be thrown in the deep end as an intern or a young cub journalist or a cub reporter to truly grasp what radio news journalism is. And I think I've had a lot of mentors. I mean, two people that to the top of my head are people like Bobby Brown, not the artist, but a friend of mine here in Cape Town, and another woman called Janine Willemans. She was my former editor. But again, I've had many mentors around that have really taught me that the most important thing about radio and podcasting is just simply keeping it simple and just having a flowing conversation, which I think is so vital.
Most definitely. Well, you've been in this for quite a while. Tell us why you will continue to repeat the skills that so go with everything you're doing in the radio world right now.
Angel, thanks so much. I'm glad that you asked that when I saw the questions that you supplied. I think when it comes to radio, I really don't want to say this because in the last, I'd say, a few years, as you know, and as I know, podcasting's become really, really popular over the world, and that's fantastic. And that's an extension, if you will, of radio and radio documentaries, etc., etc. So for me, why I think it's so important, and I would love to teach other people radio, because I don't want to see radio die, and I don't want to see radio news die. And I believe that in South Africa, we still have quite a big market for it. I mean, it's still getting a hell of a lot of people listening, and it's so important to get the message out. I mean, people still love radio, and I still want to see it flourish and grow. But you are hearing about more and more countries these days where radio is taking more and more of a backseat in terms of your normal FM and AM frequencies, and people are turning to the podcasts.
Yeah.
What you're not getting is that real live feeling, when you're sitting in your car and you like listening to the radio. I mean, that's a fantastic feeling, and hearing breaking news on the hour, and you are probably one of the few handful of journalists in the country that will be able to get that message out first. So I think that those fundamentals are so important in terms of journalism to take forward.
Yeah, it is a specific art form, isn't it? That
Yes,
doesn't.
very much so.
Yeah. Well, I do look forward to how you do that, and yeah, definitely another conversation, right? I would love to have that conversation. But do tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, and I do hope it involves the 4-string instruments I see in your LinkedIn picture.
That's right, Angel. I'm an avid bass guitarist or a bass player. That's kind of like, yeah, I love it. It's kind of like my hobby, and I've been doing it for 10 years now. But I'll be lying to you if I was saying every year I've been playing, and I think it's only probably in the last 3 years we have kind of really went into what music really is, and learning, the proper scales, and really going back to basics and reteaching myself a lot of the elements of music. I don't know if do you play music?
Yes, I do play the guitar. And
oh, fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah, we go together, right? Guitar and bass guitar definitely go together.
No, it's rad. I think, for people who are musically minded, they've just got one of the most special gifts, to be able to come home after, if you have a stressful job, if you don't have a stressful job, but you can pick it up any time and just sit and play, and it's just, that for me is rad.
That's good. How does it make you feel when you're playing the bass guitar, my friend?
It takes my mind off everything. It takes my mind off the pressures of the job that I have to do, and it just kind of calms me down and really gives me a space to kind of be creative and be myself. That's what I love about it. And people have this feeling, I don't know if you've had this before, if you've heard of this before, but a lot of people are like, oh, with the bass guitar, it's only got 4 strings, so you can only do so much, and it's an easy instrument. It's really not. It's actually probably as much up there with the 6-string guitar as any other instrument in terms of its layers and challenge to get good at it, because the bass guitar offers a lot. It really does. It's a fun instrument.
Yeah, it does, most definitely. And the fact, well, do you sing while you play, or do you play only?
I try to sing, man, but it's really difficult. I don't know if you can.
Oh no, it's challenging for me.
Yeah, it's so tricky. It's really, really difficult, and I've tried many times. I was in a band for a little while, but it was really kind of like a mess around band. We used to do like little hole in the wall gigs at like dingy pubs, and it was a lot of fun as friends. And my brother was also in the band, and I'd like try and sing, but I'm by no means a good singer, so we'll leave it.
It's all good. All right, well, hey, where's the best place for us to connect with what you do, Graeme?
Well, yeah, in terms of the podcasting, if you haven't seen yet, we did 2 seasons of Radio Spoke Awesome, and we kind of shelved it and left it there because my partner and myself, I have to mention him, Francois now. He's an amazing audio engineer, probably one of the best I've ever met. This guy has such an amazing talent for really making audio coming alive. But him and I are so busy, and he's also going to be studying next year, and I had also finished off a bit of studies this year. So we kind of had really hectic schedules, and we found that we kind of took a note or a leaf out of the British sitcom book of doing things, in that we found that after 2 seasons or 3 seasons, we did everything that we wanted to do and set out to do for that time in the industry of music in Cape Town and South Africa. So we felt like we had the best bands at the time. We got the coolest people on at the time that we could, from politicians to comedians, etc., and we really felt like we had a lot of fun with it, and we didn't know where to take it next. So rather not force something, and rather just something let breathe and hope people pick up on it again. And I'm so happy to hear you picked up on it, and I hope you at least found it a little entertaining.
It was.
I'm glad. And other than that, it's just journalism for me now. If you're looking to connect, I tweeted you before the podcast, so I'm always on Twitter, like almost 24 hours a day, but not really because I'm sleeping. But I love Twitter. I think Twitter is a fantastic medium.
Yeah, what's your Twitter handle?
It's at GraemeRauby. So it's not the conventional way of spelling Graeme, like the Graham. It's not that way. It's the Graeme and Rauby. So it's at Graeme Rauby. You can go and tweet me anytime. Talk about music, talk about podcasting, talk about radio. I'm always there.
Love it. Well, Graeme, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Graeme, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Probably earliest childhood memory is very strange, but I was running around as a kid in our backyard, and I remember there was this wall in our backyard that would kind of look onto the neighbor's property, but the wall had like holes in them. But it's just the way that the brick was laid, and I used to like peer through these holes and try and look into the neighbor's garden to like spy on their dogs. I think that's the most earliest bit I have.
How old do you think you were?
I probably was like maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know. It's very tough, eh?
Yeah. Well, why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think it's so clear. It's because I have such fond memories after that time of that house and where we grew up in this beautiful suburb in Cape Town called Boston Belleville. It's such a beautiful kind of neighborhood. There's such fantastic people in there. A lot of good musicians also come out of there. I have such great memories. I think it's just because it's such a beautiful home, and it's just it was just a good time.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Sure, go for it.
I love the idea of the curiosity that motivates Graeme. The curiosity of him looking through the bricks that are there to see what's going on the next side of the fence. Something that is definitely a key to your journalism and who you are today.
I love that. That's like perfectly spot on. Thank you. That's rad. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. If we fast forwarded to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Favorite song when I was 12 was probably, I don't know if you know a band called the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I do.
I was into the By the Way album at the time, and I really loved the song called the Zephyr song. It's so unconventional and so different than anything that the Chili Peppers had ever done, but they like pulled it off brilliantly. There's an amazing hook in the song, and it's just clean and so well written. So I think the Zephyr song when I was 12 years old was probably the best thing that I was listening to at the time.
All right. Well, Graeme, we've arrived at our destination now, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Graeme?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Graeme, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet, but I hope to. I'm still young.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Yes.
How about 3? Ooh, sorry. What about screen time? The phone and or the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Probably about just less than.
Graeme, if you had to share with us a statement that represents who you are, your own unique real statement, what would you say that is?
There is no try.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so you when you say there is no try, it's actually a quote from Star Wars, but I love it so much because it represents everything that I try to strive for. That there is no try is that you never try to do something, you aim to do it.
Love it. Love it.
Commit to it.
Yeah, love it. I think Tony Robbins has something when he says, I've heard this story. I'd like you to try to move a table. And then the person goes and moves the table. And then he says, no, I'd like you to try to move it. And then the person goes and move it again. He says, no, I said, I'd like you to try to move it. And then it's figured out, right, that it's not possible to try to move it. Okay, it's just your accent that sounded like it was trial. So I wanted to make sure. That is amazing. Love it. Well, Graeme, this has been a great pleasure, my friend. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Angel, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. You come across as this amazing, positive person, and I hope you achieve everything that you set out to do in this project. It is really, really awesome from one podcaster to another. Godspeed.
Hey, thank you, my friend Graeme. I got chilled there. Graeme Raubenheimer, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mounting pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.